This morning my alarm went off at 4:45 and the day's just started. Starting weight 86.4 kilos. Started off the day with a quick gym sesh, asked chat for a full body workout, and he reminded me why I hated doing Bulgarian split squats. And after the gym I took my dogs out for a quick walk in the park. Breakfast was 500 grams of egg whites and a white Americano with about 50 millilitres of milk. And then it was dad duty, but the steps still had to get done regardless. Then it was lunchtime, he had pizza and I had that. Then it was time for the weekly food shop, and everybody knows, protein first. 6 shopping bags later, dinner was 2 cooked chicken breasts and a protein shake. But we can't call it a night yet because it's 9:30 and I've still got 2,000 steps to get. Getting abs in 14 days, day 2. I was 200 grams heavier than yesterday, but I'll put that down to the increase in protein. My goal for today was getting as much done as possible because leaving it all till last minute last night was an absolute nightmare. Took the dogs for a walk in the park this morning, and what makes me laugh is that I walk past all the regular dog walkers and say hello, but we don't even know each other. By the end of the walk, I was 10k steps in and it was time for breakfast. And of course, breakfast was egg whites, obviously. It's the only way I know how to hit my macros on time every time. And it was actually quite nice with the seasonings that I used. And lunch was OTG, on the go. I had to plan for in advance, otherwise there was no chance. I was just too busy today. And for the gym, I asked chat for mostly compound movements to preserve muscle, and it didn't hold back. After the gym, I still had 6,000 steps to get in, so I went for an hour's long walk around the park and back. Last meal was 500 gram Greek yogurt, 25 gram protein powder, and it was as dry as it looked. But it was nice. Got the last few steps in, and then I was done. Steps done, protein done, but tomorrow's not going to be fun. I've got work and I've still got to do all this stuff, so let's see what happens. 14 days to get abs, day 3. Quick little physique check, quick little weight check, and straight outside to catch the sunrise with the dog. Today's plan of action was to take the train to work to get in as many steps as possible before and after work so that I can chill when I got home. Finished the walk with about 4,500 steps, and then breakfast, obviously egg white. This is my meal prep. It's like a lunch box for dads, a dad box. Meat, chicken, tuna, protein packed. Supplements and my whey latte to go. I was walking down to the station and I was thinking to myself, this time last year I wouldn't even walked at all, I would have driven down. Another 2,000 steps on the way down, sipping on my whey latte, and whilst I was on the train I logged all of my meals into MyFitnessPal ahead of time. More steps, no elevators, steps only. First lunch was beef top slice with sriracha, if that's how you say it, sriracha. Lunch number 2 was cold chicken, lettuce and mayo with all-purpose seasoning. And then before I left the office, tin of tuna with more seasoning. Got out the station already on 20,000 steps. And before I got home to enjoy my last meal of the day, I thought I'll bang out some pull-ups in the park. There's the steps, there's the macros, but tomorrow no train, so I don't know how I'm going to get the steps in, but we'll see. Day 4 of trying to get abs in 14 days. Now, the reason why I'm trying to get abs in 14 days is because my birthday is in 14 days. And I promised myself this time last year that by the time I was 30, I would have abs. I'm down on the scales today, which is good. And I headed out for a walk. I wanted to get the majority of the steps out of the way this morning. Although I still had to drive to work, I got up a little bit earlier before the sunset just to get a few extra steps in. But my biggest concern today is the meal that I have later on. It's going to reduce the amount of time that I have to do the remaining steps, and it's going to be difficult to say no to all the good food a restaurant has. So I'm going to ask ChatGPT what it recommends later on. I finished the walk in about an hour and a half, and that gives me about 90,000 steps. It's about 10 minutes per 1,000 steps, and that's the numbers there. Breakfast, no brainer, egg whites. I've got about 6 bottles left to get through. Made myself a whey latte with milk this time, and started to meal prep for Lunch number 1, lunch number 2, and afternoon tea. Straight into the dad box. It's not quite a caramel latte, but it'll do. Now, chat seems to think I'm at 17% body fat, and I have to drop down to 15% to see abs. Lunch number 1, pre-cooked chicken. I heated it up this time, and it was 10 times better, obviously. I don't know why I didn't do that yesterday. This is the sauce for my lunch number 2. Bit of Greek yolks, all-purpose seasoning, bit of garlic as well. Mixed it all up, added some sriracha into it, and this makes a dry chicken breast not so dry anymore. Mix up all the sauce, dollop it onto the plate, and look at that. Yeah, this was nice. I wish I had more of that, to be fair. Bit too much Greek yogurt, but I made it through. Yeah, that was banging. And now it's time for the restaurant. I've still got 6,000 steps to get, and I have to work out what to eat within 300 calories and 30 grams of protein. So wish me luck. Ordered the olives, the sea bass, and the lettuce. 207 calories, 25 grams of protein. The sea bass was lovely, filled me right up, but the bones were a bit annoying. Hit the protein target, under calories, and I just got about 3,000 steps left to get in. Day 5 of 14 days to get a 6-pack. And this morning I jumped on the scales heavier than yesterday, and I put that down to one thing and one thing only: bad sleep. I got about 5 hours of sleep last night, so I'm going to be going to bed super early tonight. I hit the gym for a full body workout, and after the first set of bench I was just gone. So I've reduced the amount of reps and sets to 2 sets of 10 instead of 3. Made my way through the workout. I'm thinking about changing the splits, because full body takes a toll on one when one is in a calorie deficit. So any recommendations would be nice. Although it's nice to get a full pump, the legs just take it out of me. So any suggestions are welcome. I'll see what chat's got to say about it. He's usually good with all this stuff. After the gym, I went for a quick walk, about half an hour, just to get in some sun and some steps. Loaded up the egg whites. I added in some Cajun seasoning today, and it was banging. Then I made my signature whey latte and packed the dad box up. 500 grams of lean mince, spinach, and the ice cooler. Took it on my way. Genuinely, I'll take this over a caramel latte any day of the week. Cooked up the mince and spinach. Took about 6-7 minutes to get it all done. Tasted ridiculous, even in a grill, but it was a bit too protein heavy, I must say. Got the fibre down me, and now I'm at the point where I've hit the protein target, I'm under the calorie target. I'm going to bang out these last 5,000 steps and hit the hay. And I'm not going to get up until about 6 or 7 tomorrow, because I need to catch up on the sleep, and hopefully that reduces the scale weight tomorrow. Let's see. Can I get abs in 2 weeks? As somebody who used to weigh 23 stone, today I almost gave up. I weighed the same as yesterday. I woke up with a headache. I woke up with indigestion, and I thought to myself about just rolling over and going back to sleep. That would have been the easy option, but getting abs in 2 weeks is not easy. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. So I got up, took the dogs out, went for a walk. And before I knew it, one foot in front of the other, left foot, right foot, I was down 9,000 steps. And there's no way I'm playing catch up of an evening to get that. And today I needed more than just egg whites. So I added in some gherkins, some salami, and some cheese. 2 coffees today just to make it through to lunch without killing somebody. And first lunch was tuna and all-purpose seasoning with a bit of mayo on top. Some solid macros there. Nothing special about it, but I could have done without putting mayo on. I would have saved some calories. Lunch number 2 was cottage cheese, broccoli, and more all-purpose seasoning. Look at that. Yeah, I didn't anticipate how tough it would be to eat, but it tasted as good as it looks. And I was about to go home, but I snuck in a quick workout, if you could even call it that, a little calisthenics one, just to say I did a workout. I did back extensions, dips, hanging knee raises, push-ups, and that was it. Called it a day. I've already logged my dinner. I'm going to have Greek yogurt and a protein shake, and I'll catch up on the rest of those steps later. And let's hope tomorrow's easier. Day 7 of Can I Get Abs in 14 Days as somebody who used to weigh 320 pounds. Scale weight was down today, which was a good sign. Felt a lot better going out for a walk this morning. And as I was taking the train to work, that meant it was only a 45-minute walk with the dogs. And it took about 20 minutes for the sun to finally decide to show itself. There we go, get some vitamin D. I need to supplement for that. And before you know it, 4,000. I'm actually getting sick of egg whites at this point, but I bought 10 bottles of them, so I need to make my way through. And with ketchup, they're a lot better today. Packed up my dad box, started walking to the station, and headed to work. And just by walking to the station, from one station to another, and walking from the last station to work, I was able to get up to about 11,000 steps before I even started. Lunch was yesterday's leftover with some chicken, and the chicken majorly improved that dish, obviously. I seasoned it with Korean style barbecue chicken seasoning, and about 2 hours later, I had the other half of it. Well, I left a third for myself, afternoon tea, and it was equally as good. They loaded me up for the way home. And a cheeky little pink lady on the train. And walking back home, I was able to get the last remaining steps in, and I realised what a mistake it was wearing tracksuits today. It was so hot. Got in a few pull-ups just to keep the muscles pumped, and by this point the passers-by are sick of seeing me here, I think. Dinner's already been logged. It's going to be a Greek yogurt and protein powder, and steps have been completed. Goal for tomorrow is 10k steps before 10 a.m. Day 8 of Can I Get Abs in 14 days. As somebody who used to weigh over 140 kilos less than 12 months ago. The scale weight is down, which is good, but not exactly where I expected it to be by now. I was out of the house at 4:40 today because I had one goal and one goal only, which was to get as many steps done in the morning as possible. Because today is my day off, and as a busy dad with a missus and a kid, I want to prioritize family time as much as possible. But I also want to make sure I get my steps in and hit my fitness goals. So the only way that I can do that is just get up earlier and get out of the house earlier and get as many steps in as possible. And by the end of the day, I should be able to relax of an evening. I feel bad for the dogs though, because I really put them through this walk, but they're Jack Russells, they can handle it. I was starting to feel fatigued myself at this point, but the sun came out and blessed us with its presence, and I made my way through. Just under 2.5 hours later, 7 miles, 14,000 steps. Coffee straight away. Breakfast was lean mincemeat with tomatoes and seasoning, and I split it into 2 portions so I can have some more for lunch. Dosed up on my supplements, double dosed up on the caffeine, and took my boy out for some steps, which of course lasted no time. Finished my other half of the steak mince, and then by this point I was just robbing from my son's lunchbox. Did a weekly food shop and I picked up these along the way. I couldn't resist myself. And just to preserve some muscle, went down to the park for a bit of Calorie. Steps are done, macros are done, but I do need to add some Greek yogurt and a rice cake to this. Tomorrow's a big gym day, so tune in for that. Day 9 of Can I Get a Six Pack in 2 weeks as someone who used to be over 45% body fat. And finally, the scale weight was down. I wanted a solid pump today, so I had a pre-workout banana before I stepped foot inside. See, today started off good. I mean, got the workout in. I was carved up and caloried up beforehand with the pre-workout banana. I was able to get a good pump, but it lured me into a false sense of security for the rest of the day. My calories are meant to be approximately 1,500 per day, depending on step levels and activity level. And my protein intake should equal a gram of protein per pound of body weight, which is usually easy to stick to if I fast in the morning, do my steps or my workout, and then have my first meal afterwards. But today I had the banana. I think it set me off in the wrong direction. Anyway, I've got about 3 packs of mincemeat to get through still before I can change breakfast up. But look at that, come on. If you close your eyes, that smelled like Burger King. Tasted the nuts as well. Meal prepped it for lunch. I was a bit hot that bite. Took my son out for some breakfast and some steps, just around the retail park, just to kill some time. But after lunch, it was getting too hot, so I dropped him off at his auntie's house. And this is where the bad decision started. It was so hot, the heat caused me to overeat. Just the breadsticks alone. I mean, it may not seem a lot, but it's about 100 calories and 25 grams of carb. And then for dinner, I just ate what tasted nice instead of anything substantial. And I mean, look at that. 400 calories over, and I still haven't finished the steps. And that's going to take me all the way through to the evening now. So hopefully a better day tomorrow. Day 10 of Can I Get a Six Pack in 14 Days? As somebody who used to wear size 44-inch trousers. And weighing in today, we were up a tad, which was to be expected after yesterday. But I'm feeling good today because I can take the training to work, which allows me to hit the step goal very easily. So just a short walk with the dog today, only one of them. 1 pack of mints left to go. Although today I didn't eat it for breakfast, I meal prepped it for lunch and dinner, and I had honey roasted ham slices and a coffee instead. Packed up my dad box and headed off to work to get my first round of steps in. Now walking to the first station is about 2,000 steps, and walking in between other platforms and stations is another 2,000 steps, and then from the last station to work is about 5k. And then calories were just caffeine, cottage cheese, tuna, and I consider this meal a punishment for overeating yesterday. I mean, just look at that. It's like dog food, human dog food. I mean, the tuna by itself is nice. The tuna and the seasoning is nice. The cottage cheese by itself is nice. Cottage cheese and seasoning is nice. But all three together, and the beef came through to save the day. This was the first quarter of the beef. The second quarter was lunch number 2. And I'll have the second half for dinner tonight. But after a long day, I just couldn't help myself from nicking some of my colleagues' carbs. So another 8,000 steps on the way back home. And of course, even though it's a rest day, we have to go to the park for some Cali. Only a couple of reps, but better than nothing. So I'm done for the day now. I can go home and enjoy some family time. Macros are done and within target. And those last remainder of the steps I will complete just walking about the flats. Day 11 of Can I Get a Six Pack in 2 weeks? And today really tested my willpower. I don't know how or why, but that's, almost 3 kilos over what I was yesterday, which could be a combination of things. It could be a lack of sleep, which sleep has been lacking over the last few days. It could be an increase in salt in the meals over the last few days. It could be more water retention. I don't know, but I'm going to take my own advice and not pay attention to the scale weight today. But I'd be lying if I said it wasn't playing on my mind. So when I cooked breakfast today, I added in some cheese just to make myself feel better. Even though it was fat-free protein cheese, still shouldn't be in there during this cut. I had my punishment tuna and cottage cheese. And then for the other lunches, I just split up the other half of the breakfast that I made this morning. And the idea is to intermittent fast this afternoon. So these meals here are pretty much going to be my last meals. I had the tuna and cottage cheese at 12 o'clock. The next meal I had at about 2:30. And the final one was just before I left, about 5 o'clock. And it was so nice. I wish I made more of that, to be honest. But I'm glad they're gone. I'm sick of mints. And I think the fat content or the salt in what I'm mixing in with the mints is what's contributing to the water weight. But anyway, we'll see. I was able to smash the steps today. I was still able to go to the park and fit in some Cali. But my knee's starting to play up. So I'm contemplating going to the gym in the morning or not. And tomorrow's going to be even tougher because I got a function to go to after work. And I ain't going to be drinking, I'm not going to be eating, I'm going to be going to bed early and probably only talking about calories and macros. So, yeah, not exactly the life and soul of the party. Day 12 of Can I Get a Six Pack in 2 weeks as a former 23 stone man. And this morning I had to check the scales 3 times to make sure that was correct. This always shouldn't pay too much attention to the daily fluctuations because yesterday I was 3 kilos up, now I'm 3 kilos down. But I must say, it put a spring in my step and it gave me the motivation to go to the gym and bang out a quick chest and tries workout. I've changed my split from full body to chest and tries, back and bis and legs for now. Just whilst I'm on the cut, and then I'll go back onto full body. I was able to finish up in under 40 minutes and still get some steps in, get some sunshine before getting back in for breakfast. And it's a return of the egg whites, my last bottle. Only half the bottle because I had 2 eggs as well, plus some olives. This dish tasted a lot nicer than usual egg white dishes. And the macros are still fairly impressive. Added some low calorie ketchup on top because I felt like I deserved it. I had a busy day at work schedule, so I was able to get lots of steps in during the working day. But lunch, I wanted to keep it as lean as possible. So chicken and lettuce times two with some cottage cheese on top and some sriracha for a bit of a kick. And I must say, chicken and cottage cheese goes down a lot better than tuna and cottage cheese. So I think this is going to be my staple lunch for the next couple of days. Couple that with the all-purpose seasoning. Heck, I could eat this for a week straight, I think. And then after work, I went to the function, and this is where the discipline kicks in. I swear I could smell those cookies from there. I gave in to one small jelly shot, and that was it. And I was that guy at the party doing pull up, but then I had to call it an early night because you have to make sacrifices for your goals. Otherwise, your goals become the sacrifice. Calories were in control. I didn't hit the protein target, but I'm happy with that, and I'm finishing off the final steps now. Day 13 of Can I Get a Six Pack in 2 weeks? As someone who used to weigh 320 pounds, and would you look at that? I don't know what to say about that. 2 days ago, I was moaning about how much the scale weights are fluctuating against me. Now they're fluctuating in the right direction. I don't know how to feel. But I knew this morning I did not feel like going to the gym. So I took the dogs for a walk instead. I caught the sunrise and I walked through both parks. Cracked open a couple of eggs, 250 ml of egg whites, sauce on top, and look at that breakfast. I was told today by the girl at Costa that she's never had anybody order the same drink that I've ordered before. Lunch was left over from yesterday. I thought I left myself more chicken than that. It was just cottage cheese pretty much. And Sunday there's bargains on the shelf. Got some chicken tikka breast. It was so nice I could have ate that twice. Headed to the gym and I had very little time, so it was just a quick session. Cable rows, pull-ups, and I did dumbbell curls to failure. Got home and made my favourite post-workout protein dessert, and it was so good that I had to share it with little man. But I'm still feeling hungry, so I got a rice cake and some ham, and headed back out for the rest of my steps. And don't tell me about it, I know the form looks shocking. Still got a few more steps to get, so I'm just going to put the headphones in and go for a stroll in the park. And Sunday afternoons are my favourite time to go for a walk in the park. Hardly anybody about, no dogs, no kids, just me, my music, the sun and the steps. Hit all the targets and looking forward to the last day tomorrow. Day 14 of Can I Get a Six Pack in 2 weeks? As somebody who used to weigh over 145 kilos and the scale weight held firm. I thought yesterday's weight was a fluke and it was going to bounce back today. So with that, I treated myself to some turkey bacon, and because I ran out of egg whites, ordered my usual from Costa, which I hear is unusual for everybody else, packed in some protein at work. And those pre-cooked chicken breast packs are extremely underrated. You can reheat and have as a meal like that, or just on the go like that. Now after work I was thinking, where am I going to get my final steps in? Not my final steps forever, but my final steps to mark the end of this challenge. And the answer was Southend Pier, the longest pleasure pier in the world. It is 1.3 miles long, which translates roughly to about 3,000 steps. Now I've only ever been on that pier a couple of times in my life. And after walking up to it, I thought to myself, why haven't I been here more often? I've always driven past it and looked down at it from the road and thought, that's miles away. And it is a mile away. But nowadays I look at a mile a whole lot differently than I ever have done before. My walking pace is 3 miles an hour. So I can walk a mile in 20 minutes. So I can walk up and down this in about 45. And that's the thought I had when I first looked at the pier and thought, yep, I could do that easily. And coming to the end of it, just looking around, taking in the sun, the sand, the sights and the sea, it was a pleasure. And obviously I had to cop a little quick pic there. Walked back to the end of the pier, back to my car and headed back home. Finished off dinner, finishing off the steps now and getting ready for a good night's sleep to mark the end of the 2-week six-pack challenge. Today's the day we find out if the 2-week ab challenge has paid off. Before I reveal, I want to run through some stats. So 14 days ago, I weighed in at 86.4 kilograms. Over the course of 14 days, I have done 295,448 steps, which is a daily average of 21,101. I've consumed on average 1,539 calories, of which 201 grams was protein, 75 grams was carbs, and 43 grams was fats on average. Today's weight, I came in at 83.3 kilograms. So over the course of 2 weeks, it's a 3.1 kilogram drop, which equals just under 7 pounds. So let's have a look. Did I get abs in 14 days? What do you think? Now, if you're asking if I've got visible abs, I'll say yes. But if you're asking me, am I bodybuilder stage ready? Then absolutely not. And what's next from here, you might ask? I think I'm going to continue on the cut because I do want to see stage ready abs. But I'm happy with the progress so far, and I'm going to take a couple of weeks to enjoy some maintenance, a couple of extra calories, and definitely a lot less steps and some well needed sleep. But thank you for coming along with the challenge, and maybe, just maybe, I might do it again. See you later.